The auction yard on Vega 9 smelled of ozone and oil, of desperation and rot. Beneath the blistering white suns, hundreds of sentient beings waited behind energy cages, each a number, a price tag, a heartbeat waiting to be spent. The crowd was mostly human: traders, miners, collectors, mercenaries. Their credits gleamed brighter than their consciences. Among the condemned stood a frail, blue-skinned woman, blind, her eyes a milky silver that reflected nothing. Her wrists were bound with plasma shackles that hissed softly, burning faint orange against her azure skin. Her name, in her own tongue, was Salnari, but the slavers called her Lot 47. They said she was a relic of a dying species, the Larathi, wiped out when their planet was strip-mined for neutron crystals. The Larathi were known for their empathic sight. They could see the emotions of others as patterns of light. Salnari, though, had been blinded in the mines. The irony was cruel, an empath who could no longer see souls, and today, she was to be sold for parts. Lot 47, female, Larathi hybrid, approximately 24 rotations, barked the auctioneer. A hulking Branite with a rust-red carapace, blind, partially malnourished, psychic potential unconfirmed. Opening bid, 300 credits. The crowd murmured, too high for a broken alien, too low for a potential telepath. No one spoke. Salnari stood still, head bowed. Her hearing had become her vision. She sensed the crowd through the pulse of sound and thought. Most minds shimmered with greed, boredom, or cruelty. None with mercy. Then a voice, steady, human, broke the silence. 300, it said. Heads turned. The speaker was a man in a battered coat, dust-stained from travel. His hair was iron gray at the temples, and a faint scar traced his jaw. A simple earthborn, no insignia, no entourage. 300? The auctioneer laughed, clicking his mandibles. You'd waste that on a blind Larathi? She's fit only for scrap, the man shrugged. I'll take her as she is. A few chuckles rolled through the crowd. Someone muttered, probably wants a pet. The auctioneer hesitated, then slammed his gavel. Sold! Lot 47 to the fool with too many credits and too little sense. Later, in the cargo bay of a modest freighter, Salnari sat in silence as the human removed her shackles. I'm Captain Elias Ward, he said. You can call me Elias if you prefer. She didn't answer immediately. When the plasma cuffs hissed open, she flexed her hand slowly, feeling the blood return. You bought me, she said finally, her voice soft and melodic, though edged with disbelief. Why? Elias paused, setting the cuffs aside. Because you were about to be taken apart. And I don't like seeing people treated as property. People? She echoed. Most humans don't call us that. He gave a faint smile. Most humans are idiots. For a long moment, neither spoke. The hum of the ship filled the space between them. Finally, Salnari turned her sightless eyes toward him. What do you intend to do with me? Nothing, he said simply. You're free, her breath caught. Free? The word trembled, foreign on her tongue. Elias nodded. You can stay here until you decide where to go. I can drop you at the next civilized port. She tilted her head, studying him through the patterns of sound. His heartbeat was steady, his thoughts a quiet tide of sincerity. You mean that? She murmured. I do. Days passed aboard the Wayfarer. Salnari spoke little, spending most of her time in the observation bay. Though she couldn't see the stars, she said she could feel them, each one a faint thrum of energy like distant music. Elias kept his distance, busy with maintenance and trade routes. But one evening, he found her sitting cross-legged by the viewport, whispering to herself. What are you doing? He asked gently. Listening, she said. To the memories of light, he frowned, intrigued. You can do that? She nodded. All things have resonance. Even the stars remember who's passed among them. He sat beside her, the silence between them stretching like gravity. You really can feel that? She smiled faintly. You humans call it the force, the ether, the soul. The Larathi simply called it the breath. It binds life together, he chuckled softly. Sounds poetic. It was, she said, until your species took it from us. Elias winced. He couldn't deny it. The Terran expansion had devoured half the galaxy, strip-mining worlds until nothing remained. He'd once been part of it, a soldier in the Vega campaign. But he'd left when he realized the resources they harvested were lives. I'm sorry, he said. She turned toward him, sensing the sincerity. "Regret is rare among your kind," she said. "Keep it. It makes you human." Weeks turned into months. Saelnari began helping around the ship, calibrating sensors by sound, repairing conduits by touch. She seemed to feel where circuits faltered, guiding energy like a whisper. Elias was astonished. One night, as they shared a meal, he asked, "You ever think about going home?" "To what's left of it." She smiled sadly. "Lyreth is gone. The mines burned deep enough to crack her core. Even the air turned to glass." "I'm sorry," he said again. She tilted her head. "You say that often." "Yeah," he admitted. "I've got a lot to be sorry for." She reached out, her hand hovering near his chest. "I can feel it, the weight in you." "You've seen death," he swallowed. "Too much of it." Her fingers brushed his arm, and suddenly, he gasped. Images flooded his mind. Battlefields, fire, the cries of dying soldiers. Then her hand recoiled as though burned. "I didn't mean to," she whispered. "I didn't know your pain would echo so loudly." Elias caught his breath. "You felt that?" She nodded. "I feel everything." For the first time, he realized her blindness wasn't a curse. It was protection. Because when she saw too deeply. Then came the signal. A distress beacon, faint and old, an encoded Larathi frequency. Elias picked it up near the edge of the Tharn expanse. Saelnari's head snapped up the moment it pinged through the comm. "That's one of ours." "You're sure?" "I know the resonance," she whispered. "It's a call from the old colonies." Elias hesitated. "It could be a trap, or it could be survivors." He stared at the star lines through the viewport, weighing the odds. Finally, he set the coordinates. "Let's find out." The beacon led them to a shattered moon orbiting a dying red star. The ruins of an outpost clung to the rock's surface, long abandoned, but something pulsed beneath, a faint rhythm of power. They landed. The interior was dark, frozen in time. Faded symbols lined the walls, Larathi script smooth and flowing. Saelnari's fingers traced them reverently. "This was a sanctuary," she said softly, "for the last of us." In the central chamber, they found a containment field, still active after decades. Inside floated a crystalline core, glowing faintly blue. Elias scanned it. "Power source?" Saelnari shook her head. "No, a seed. A memory crystal. It holds the essence of our kind," he frowned. "Like consciousness?" "Yes. The minds of 1,000 Lyrathi, preserved before the end." Waiting for rebirth, suddenly the ground trembled. Alarms flared. A ship had entered orbit. Slaver markings, Vega Consortium. They followed the signal, Elias realized grimly. Saelnari turned toward him. "We have to protect the seed," he drew his pistol. "Stay behind me." "No," she said quietly. "You'll need me." The slavers hit hard, 6 armed drones. 3 mercenaries and a captain Elias recognized, Reth Korin, the same one who'd sold Saelnari at auction. Well, Korin sneered through the smoke. "Didn't expect to see you again, Ward. Thought you'd retired from charity work." "Guess I relapsed," Elias shot back, ducking behind cover. "Hand over the alien and the crystal," Korin barked, leveling his plasma rifle. "Do that and maybe I'll let you die quick." Saelnari stepped forward, blind eyes glowing faintly. "You won't touch it," she said. Korin laughed. "What's the blind witch gonna do? Stare me to death?" Elias fired, hitting a merc in the shoulder. "Now would be a good time for a miracle," he muttered. Saelnari raised her hands. The air shimmered. The hum of the crystal deepened, resonating with her heartbeat. Energy flared around her like threads of light. Elias felt it, a pulse through the floor, through his bones. The mercenaries froze mid-step, their weapons trembling. What is she?" Korin stammered. Saelnari's voice was calm, distant. The breath remembers its children. A surge of blue-white light erupted, sweeping through the chamber. Elias shielded his eyes. When it faded, the slavers were gone, disintegrated into motes of dust. Only silence remained. Saelnari collapsed. Elias caught her before she hit the floor. Her skin was ice cold. "Saelnari, stay with me." Her lips moved weakly. "The seed, it's awake now, my people. They'll live again." He looked toward the crystal. It pulsed brightly, alive, whispering in tones he couldn't hear. "You did it," he said softly. "You saved them," she smiled faintly. "No, you did. You bought my life." I only borrowed the rest. Her hand fell still. Elias held her until the light faded from the chamber. He buried her beneath the twin suns of Vega 9, where she had been enslaved, now free. The Larathi seed he kept safe aboard the Wayfarer, vowing to guard it until her people could rise again. Years later, travelers spoke of a mysterious blue light wandering the stars, seen only by those with heavy hearts. They said it whispered of forgiveness, of second chances, of breath shared between worlds. And sometimes when Elias stared out at the stars, he swore he could hear her voice, soft as starlight, saying, "You bought my life, human, but you gave me my soul.